When did you begin to notice pet surrenders were on the increase?
So we noticed them reducing through the pandemic. Now that we're on the other side, we're seeing the numbers increase, unfortunately. So, the animal shelters, pounds and rescue organisations right across the state are at crisis now. They're overflowing, including us.
And in terms of your work to try to rehome these animals, how would you rate the success that you're having on that front?
Yeah, look, that's also challenging. We saw such a huge increase in pet ownership through the pandemic. And we're seeing more animals coming in than going out at the moment, which is part of the problem. So adoptions are low compared to usual. Anyone out there looking for a pet, I strongly support adopting, not shopping, and go to a rescue centre or a shelter or a pound to find your forever baby.
And the Sydney Dogs and Cats home is in a really tight position at the moment because you found yourself evicted during the pandemic.
That's right. January of this year we were evicted from our home. We were at Carlton for 77 years. So we're now operating out of temporary facilities across 2 sites, which is not sustainable. It's a short-term solution. We really need that shelter built to secure our long-term future so that we can support thousands of animals every year, which is why we contacted the government for funding to help support that build of the facility.
Why did the New South Wales State Government say it can't help you?
They said there's no money in the budget, and we're really sympathetic to that. We're coming out of a pandemic, there's floods, there's all sorts of things happening across the state, so we understand the financial pressures on the government. However, it's a slap in the face when you're going to allocate millions of dollars to a flagpole and not support an essential service that we provide over 1 million Sydney-siders.
You have had a different response from the state opposition. Of course, there is an election coming up at the beginning of next year in New South Wales. Can you afford to wait for this to possibly be talked about during an election campaign?
We need action now. We need the current government to step up and support this. Obviously the funding for our shelter, but we need the government to be putting forward a strong animal management plan and the funding to support it. And of course for us, the funding for this shelter.
And so what will happen if you can't get this funding?
Well, we're at risk of closure and the outcome for the animals is dire. If we're not around, there's thousands of animals every year that there's nowhere for them to go. Shelters are overflowing, they can't take them. So there's a real risk that people's pets, if they get lost, will be euthanised because there's no one to provide the care that we do.
And so within what time frame are you looking for a solution? We
need the solution now. We can't sustain this temporary facility. It's expensive to run 2 sites and we can't meet demand. We're getting 100 calls every week with people needing or wanting to surrender their animals. We can't help them because we don't have capacity. So we need urgent action. The state is in crisis and we need to respond quickly, and we need the government to step up and respond quickly to this.